And I am introducing Joe Turner. As a management consultant, he helped multiple Fortune 500 companies navigate complex change and prepare their people to be successful in changing environments. As a professional entertainer, he has performed magic and mentalism in venues from Los Angeles to London. As a keynoter, he has combined his business background with his theatrical expertise to help organizations understand how to create 5 kinds of amazing experiences with their own brands. So please welcome the Chief Impossibility Officer, Joe Turner.
I would like you to imagine that you have the ability to amaze people. Maybe you can juggle. Maybe you can read minds. Maybe you have the ability to control nature. Or maybe, just maybe, you have the ability to take an ordinary moment and transform it into something extraordinary. Who likes cab? Thank you for staying. Think about the moment you just experienced. Think about what happens when the magic pops. When the rules disappear, when the defenses go down. Think about the emotion. Think about the experience of amazement. That moment when you are amazed by a person, or a team, or by art, or by science, or by spirit. The amazed mind is highly receptive. It is highly receptive to leadership and vision. It is highly receptive to education and knowledge. And yes, it is receptive to marketing, which is a handy thing to know. Every brand, all brands, personal brands, team brands, leadership brands, retail brands, association brands, corporate brands, all brands can harness the power of amazing. All brands can leverage the amazing experience to connect more effectively with their audiences. All brands can put the power of amazing to work for them so that their audiences engage more fully, not only in their intended messages, but also in their desired actions. Magicians and mentalists and illusionists perform a wide variety of feats of dexterity. They perform different types of mind-reading experiments. They perform different things that will appear and disappear. All of these different types of effects that we do for audiences, turns out they can be systematized into 5 categories, 5 kinds of amazing. Well, Joe, you're saying, that's great if I want to go to Vegas and be an illusionist, and I want to create an evening show so that it's textured and has variety and everybody enjoys it. But what on earth are you, a magician, doing standing on the platform in front of my group? The good news is that those 5 kinds of amazing correspond to 5 business competencies that we can put to work in the way that we lead, in the way that we communicate, in the way that we interact with our audience, so that they interpret our brand as amazing. Wow, that's an amazing product. I want to buy it. Wow, that's an amazing team. I want to be on it. Wow, that's an amazing company. I want to work for it. Wow, that's an amazing convention. I want to attend it. Today, we're going to talk about 5 kinds of amazing, 5 kinds of experiences that we want to create with our brands. And we'll start with a card trick. Joe, my friends say, why are you doing a card trick? Everyone hates card tricks. Nobody comes to a conference to see a card trick. That's a perfect compliment right there. I want you to remember that for later. Nobody came here to see a card trick, which makes it a pretty wise idea to do a card trick. We'll talk about that in a minute. I have a pack of cards. These are not TV magic cards. These are from CVS. So there you go. I spared no expense. And I don't have time for everybody to pick a card, so I just want everyone in the room to think of a playing card. Just think of a card in your head. Don't say it out loud. Just think of it. And not the ace of spades. Not the ace of spades. For those of you who are already on the ace of spades, it's too obvious. So just think of a card, and I'll come to some of you, and I'll ask a few of you to name your card out loud. Right? That way you'll know it was fair, and I didn't make you take the card I wanted you to take. And you look, it's candy. You have that suspicious look, like, yeah, because I thought he was going to make me take. Just what card are you thinking of? Any card in the deck?
Queen of Hearts.
I'm sorry?
Queen of Hearts.
Now, that is interesting. When you said the Queen of Hearts, did you get the color first? Did you get the suit? Or just the whole thing came at the same time? Well, because before I start any presentation, I put one card in my pocket, just in case someone says the Queen of Hearts. And you were the one. I'm glad I came over to you first. Let's see, who else have we got? We'll not use the Queen of Hearts for this. How about this gentleman? Sir, what's your name? Ryan, name any card in the deck. Six of clubs. Now I have to ask you, you went black because she chose red, or did you change it, or were you actually thinking of that one before? Well, it's just so strange that you would choose the Queen of Hearts, and he would choose the Six of Clubs, which is actually very, very close. You can see that it changes to the Six of Clubs right there on my shoulder. Oh my God, he's good. If that's the Six of Clubs, that means that the Queen of Hearts is the one that's jumped back into my pocket. Last but not least, how about Amy? Do you play cards? Name any card in the deck, please.
The King of Spades.
King of Spades. Particular reason you chose the King of Spades?
No, I had King in my head and...
All right. Would you like me to find the King of Spades the easy way or the hard way?
The hard way.
Thanks for coming, Amy. All right. The King of Spades, left-handed. Without looking, I'll cut to one card and one card only, which leaps from the deck, flies through the air, lands gracefully in my other hand. That's cool even if it's wrong. But it was the King of Spades. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the King of Spades. All right. Oh my gosh, our time is going so fast. Let me ask you this. Think of one word that would describe that experience. Why? It was amazing. It was great, or he's so hot, or any of that kind of stuff. But the word that would describe why that experience was cool. What made it amazing? What was it?
It was interactive.
Interactive, that's good. Interactive. Any other ideas? Don't know how I did it. Okay, I get amazing. I get some of the comments sometimes are, I wouldn't want to play cards with you, right? Sometimes maybe some of you are thinking that. Or the other one is, I'd sure like to go to Vegas with you. They'd say, I'd like to take you to Vegas with me. But you really don't. We'll get both of our legs broken. We don't want to do that. They don't like that. But the reason that particular experience is amazing is because you saw some dexterity. You saw some skill delivered way up front. And so the first kind of an amazing experience that I want to talk to you about, it's the one we'll get to dig into right now, I categorize as talent. On stage, we call it talent. By this, I mean the overt display, the overt demonstration of a highly developed skill or ability. Now, maybe it's an innate ability, something you were born with, or maybe it's a learned skill that you've developed through hours and hours of practice and not getting to go to prom and all of that stuff. I'm not bitter. But you develop a high level of skill or dexterity. In show business, we know it's critically important. Think about vaudeville. The vaudeville performers would go out on stage. They had maybe 8, maybe a 12, maybe 15 minutes to knock them dead, right? And the vaudeville performers knew you had to go out and nail them with something cool in the first few seconds, right? A bottle of wine out of nowhere in the first few seconds makes an impact, right? I've learned from what I've read and studied. Maybe some of you have been to your child. I have 2 kids. My son's an actor. He's 9 years old. So last summer he was in summer drama camp and we went to see it. And of course he can do no wrong, but all those other kids stunk. You know that feeling, right? It's like my kid is the star of this show and everybody else can't act their way out of a paper bag. And you can't hear them and they're turning like this so that you can't see what they're doing. And it's just, maybe you've even seen professional productions or performers that come out on stage and from the time they walk from the wings to the center of the stage, they've already lost you because they didn't inspire confidence early on. And then the first words come out of their mouth and you're like, oh my gosh, here we go. When's intermission? Right? Because they didn't inspire confidence early on. So talent, if you want people to interpret your brand as amazing as a performer, you got to nail them with some talent early on. All right? That's the showbiz version. In business, the corresponding business competency is expertise. Expertise is the display of highly developed subject matter knowledge, right? You've got expertise. So here's my question. If you want people to interact with your brand and say, gosh, that's an amazing interaction, that's an amazing brand, how are you wowing them with your expertise, particularly early on in your relationship? When they call your office, when they call your association, when they get the first response to the very first email as they go into your CRM, when they get an email from you, when they leave you a voicemail and you call them back, are you sharing something with them in that first contact that is a value add? Are you sharing something with them that, gosh, I can't believe they gave me that for free? Why would they do that? Or are you sharing your information in a way that's unexpected? And you're putting that value out there on a blog, but not just a blog, but a blog that's like, once in a while there's a surprise. If you want to nail them with talent early on so that they have confidence in your brand on stage, likewise, your organization must nail them with expertise early on. What differentiates your card trick from the kind that, Uncle Joe did, where he dealt out 15 piles of 12, and you had to put your birthday and divide by 4, and if it's a Sunday, you do that. You know those kind of tricks. It doesn't inspire confidence. You want them to interpret your brand as virtuoso. Time is going so fast. There are 4 other types of amazing experiences, plus a bonus concept I call the kicker concept. The kicker is the kind of thing magicians use to add an extra jolt of energy at the end of the effect that raises it to another level. If you ever watch Spinal Tap, then it's like, that's how we turn it up to 11, right? Is with the kicker concept. But since I don't have time to go into all of those things, I will leave you with this. Amazing experiences are by definition pattern interrupts. They interfere with the preconceptions that we have about how people will behave, how organizations will be run, how processes will unfold. All right? If you want to be amazing, then you have to get past those preconceptions. Those preconceptions allow people to interact with most brands on cruise control. Amazement forces them to shut off the cruise control. You amaze them in these different ways, and you build a moment that stands out from the background noise. This increases their engagement with your brand, just like you've increased your engagement with the road when you turn off the cruise control. This increases their engagement with your brand. It increases their retention of your message, which automatically increases the likelihood that they will take action that you want them to take. So, 5 kinds of amazing. Sure, it's a list if you want to go make a show. It's a checklist if you want to sit in the audience and say, yep, they did that, they did that, they did that, they did that. But beyond that, it's a model. It's a strategy for changing the way that people interact with your brand and raising your effectiveness for your audience. So take the 5 kinds of amazing, go forth, break a pattern, build a moment, and be amazing.